Hey guys, Tommy here with TFL Classics. Today is the best day of the year, bar none, because this is a little secret we've been keeping from you. We bought this 1991 Mini from a gentleman out of Denver who was selling it for $5,000 because it didn't run. So we bought it and figured there's one man in the Colorado area who could make this happen, and that's Ted Axe.
Oh.
So
you figured wrong. But you got lucky.
Ted owns Axe and Allies here outside of Denver, and this is like the #1 shop in the area for anything British. And you go in there, he's got E-Types, he's got Austin Healey's, he's got crazy expensive stuff, but he agreed to take a look at a ratty old Mini, and he got it running, but it was quite the debacle.
And it was quite lucky, because my real Mini expert is Darren, and he wasn't here. But yeah, it runs like $100 now.
So
yeah.
Ted, tell us about what was wrong with it, because we thought it was going to be really bad news.
It was freakish.
Okay.
These late Minis, if this is interesting, getting all technical,
yeah.
These late Minis have a multi-piece clutch and flywheel assembly, and my first fear that it had all just come off the crank and destroyed the end of the crank, but that was my ignorance. The late Minis have a smaller hub that less likely to destroy the crank, more likely to come apart in every other way. So the crank, or I should say the flywheel, had in essence come loose from the crank, and that kept it from even starting. Fixing all that allowed it to run again. Thank God that we believed the guy that it was running before it failed on him. Although he must have felt a pretty crunchy clutch pedal for quite a few months before it all came. Oh yeah.
But it wasn't quite that easy, right? Because
oh, let's open up the hood
yeah.
and show all that flat surface area that's actually made up of thousands of tiny little parts. It's a lot of stuff packed in a small space, but with the British, everything is a game. Every little fastener and bolt is like a game. What special little squirrely tool can you get on it, and then can you still put your eyes on it, and can you put your fingers on it? And then are the thread strip. I think again, I was talking about that radiator hose that to put it back, buried down under the throttle body. There's a hose that you need to get to put on, and it's like trying to make a pool shot with a rope for a cue. There's no actual access to it. Everything's a game. But if you're patient and if you have a lot of swear words queued up, you can get it done.
So what we were hoping for is that there'd be like something wrong, something small, like a wire had popped off the fuel injection, and then you just pop that back on and we'd be back in business. But what actually happened is you had to drop the whole subframe, right?
I felt that it was the easiest way to get the engine out and preserve the possibility of the air conditioning still working when the job was done.
Okay.
And I think it's the best way to do it anyway, because you take all this out the bottom. Sounds easy, doesn't it? And then you can kind of service it. I mean, it sits on the ground with a subframe, complete with the wheels and axles and everything. But then once you've done that, then you can jack it up. You jack the engine up out of the subframe, get the cover off, look at the disaster that is behind the bell housing, for lack of a better word. And if there was a chance that it had destroyed the engine, we would have needed to take it out anyway. There are people that will, and I've done it myself, sometimes you can disconnect everything and lift the engine out the top. But I think on Minis, it's not worth the trouble. I think it's better to drop them out the bottom.
Tell them why we bought it in 91, how much we paid for it, how long it took to fix, and how much it's probably worth.
Okay, well, we paid $5 for it.
Yeah.
Ted basically went through the whole car.
I wish I could say
no,
that.
that's true.
I had to take a lot of stuff apart, but I also did it with blinders on because I did not want to be on the hook for anything.
When we bought this, the dash was in 1,000 pieces, brake lights didn't work, didn't have a battery, so Ted went through a lot of it for $4,000, so we're at about $9,000 now. It's probably worth $8,000? I don't know, what are they worth?
Oh, I think a car this rust-free and nice, I think it's, I'm a little ignorant about the values, but I think you're actually I think you have lots of upside.
Oh, wow.
I think as nice as this one drives, the apparent condition, the rust-free nature of the body, and I think the values, okay, so the Mark 1s are worth the most, but after you get outside the Mark 1s, they all have their different merits, and these injected ones run and drive so nice. It's got a lot of suspension upgrades, that or maybe just all the later ones had it, I'm not sure. But there's so much going for this car, I actually think the value on it would be quite a bit more than you have in it.
So it is right-hand drive. I think that one's left-hand drive.
Yes.
So that would probably make it a little bit more desirable in my mind. But like, it's pretty rust-free. Rockers are pretty solid. Ted did notice, underneath the flares, Look, you can see a little bit of rust there. But in the back, you still have the really cool fold down boot lid, just like that. And it's in pretty good shape overall. These fender flares, like we talked about, aren't original. But the interior, like, not bad, right? It's got kind of these reclining like chairs. The whole dashboard is still a little bit rattly, but it all looks good. Ted's put on the original steering wheel. It doesn't have the center mounted gauge. It's got like a more traditional gauge cluster, and we'll do full videos showing the cool things about it.
Smile, Gordon, you're on not so candid camera.
Let me break the camera, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This is today's lump of cars. We're doing sort of a topside restoration on that golden beige Healy. A repair on this car we don't need to ever talk about again. The Citroen SM, as long as you don't look at the engine, these are great cars.
Come on, Ted, it's a Maserati engine. How cool is that?
It's not at all.
It's not cool.
It's not cool at all. Yeah.
Apparently, this is something I learned. If you're going to be into Citroens and you want the SM, which is this, I guess, idyllic relationship between a French company and an Italian company, don't.
Yeah, it's a relationship that never should have been allowed. Yeah.
But if you do want a classic car that actually is classic, look at the Jaguar E-Type up there, right? That's one that the promise is the reality versus the promise being a big money pit.
Yeah, and an E-Type can be a money pit too, but it's a worthwhile money pit.
Because you'll probably get your...
To be fair, the Citroen SM, when they work, they absolutely live up to the dream. Unlike, say, no, I'm not gonna say anything bad about other cars, but there's a short list of classic cars that live up to the dream.
All right, what are they? Come on.
Citroen DS's.
Okay, of course.
E-Type Jags.
Of course.
MG-Bs.
All right.
MG frickin' Bs live up to the dream.
All right, yeah. They're not in vogue right now, but they're cool.
They are the best thing the British ever built.
Yeah.
They're solid, reliable. They look good.
Yeah.
They look great.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're at the British Car Show, everybody has one, so they're not special.
But there's a reason everybody has one.
But yeah, because their survival rate is high.
What about the Healys?
The Healys don't live up to the dream behind the wheel. They look cool, they sound cool, but driving them, the side curtain cars, you won't have a kneecap after you get in and out of it a few times. The later ones squeak and groan like an old Spanish galleon as you're driving down the road. Right, they're cool, but they're tedious.
Three, what else? Is there more that live up to the dream? So if you guys are looking for...
The Minis might qualify if you have one that hasn't been... Everybody has to turn them into little race cars and they beat you to death. But a nice Mini that is just kind of kept nice.
That one is a Japanese domestic market. It came from Japan, where their regulations are pretty strict, and so if it gets a little bit of rust, they can't register them. If it gets that's why they come here. 50,000 miles, something like that on it. Yeah.
That makes sense.
All right. Yeah. How about the coolest name of any automobile? Let me see if you can get this. The coolest name of any automobile ever. But the name is different, and I'll give you a clue. The name is different in England as it is here. It's a British car.
Oh, Bug Eye versus Frog Eye.
Bug Eye, yeah. How are they?
Yeah, actually, they're
Bug Eye or Frog Eye.
Bug Eye, Frog Eye, and mechanically, we're just talking about an MG Midget.
Yep.
So if you have an MG Midget built 74 or earlier, they're pretty nice.
There you go.
They're pretty reliable. They're fun and chuckable. They're a little cramped.
And what cars do you burn with fire? Jensen Interceptors?
Jensen Healys burn themselves with fire. Okay, so if you're cold, go out to the garage and fire up the first Jensen Healy you come across, because your chances of burning it to the ground are very high.
What about Spitfires?
Spitfires, honestly, I think they're gonna under the heading of cars that maybe should come up. They're cute and fun. Mechanically, I'm sorry, Triumph, I love you, but you're mechanically inferior to MG. You're rattle traps, and if you're a Triumph, you had bling for the sales brochure. You had wire wheels, more likely. You had overdrives. You had wooden dashboards, independent rear suspensions, the worst ones ever designed. So Triumphs look neat with their Italian styling. They have features, but a nice Triumph will still bend when you put it on the lift and be hard to open the doors. A rusty MG, you can put it up in the air and it still is a nice solid car.
That's my favorite car, the GT6. You're saying
the GT6 is cool. At least you can open the doors on those because it's a hardtop, but they're still crap.
All right.
Sorry, Chip. I know you love your new GT6. I do too, but don't pretend it's ever going to be a good car.
And they don't fit people like me. The GT6 is, at least I can.
Honestly, I think you might have to duck, but I think you're once you're in them.
What about TR7s?
So servicing the TR7 engine is really unfortunate if they've been neglected.
Yeah.
The wedge shape
is cool.
I'm too old to appreciate the wedge.
All right.
So I will not be the biggest fan of the TR7 flying doorstop. The shape of things to come. Remember the TV commercial with the little triangle?
I'm not that old.
Yeah.
Well, I am that old, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just passed out. So I like the commercial for the TR7.
All right, so that's a no. That's a no.
TR6?
TR6s really are cool.
Yeah.
They're still not good cars, but they're at least all the problems that a TR6 has, they are known and they are surmountable. And then and there's so much cool stuff for them. Like if you want a car that you can put cool stuff on and play with, and that looks cool. I have to say I don't admire TR6s, but I like TR6s.
All right, last question. Yeah. This is getting long.
Sorry.
If you could only own one British classic car, only one. I know you own one, but what would it be? Would it be the one that's out there? Well, show me your car. Show me your car. You got see
with an unlimited budget, it'd be an Aston Martin DB5. Who's not going to say that, right?
Well, James Bond.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, and any other color wouldn't be good enough for me. But in reality,
show him your car.
My MGB, I love my MGB. I never even wanted it. It was given to me by this cool old lady that used to rally MGs. And now I think the MGB is my favorite. It's one of my favorite cars ever.
It looks like it just came out of Morocco.
It's all stickers.
Right?
Stickers make you faster. Yeah.
Look, I'm actually Monte Carlo, not Morocco. It looks like it just came from Monte Carlo. It looks so badass.
Yeah. No, I do. I actually think Bs are my favorite of the British cars.
Yeah,
which I know is boring, but they're cool.
Is this your daily driver?
Yeah. Actually, some friend of my kids saw it when I was dropping him off at school. And I hear back later, does your dad have a vintage Ferrari? And so it went to my head, right? So all of a sudden I'm getting triple laced wire wheels for it and putting cool suspension parts on, and now it's got a supercharger. This is the kind of car I should make fun of people for, because it's all the blingy stuff you can get from a catalog, right? Oh, I got to try that. I got to try that.
All right, so on our car, Ted, before we close this off, so you got it running. We just drove it. Tommy will do a full video on that. It just drives like a dream. I mean, Mini says go-kart-like handling. You don't know what that's like until you get in
that is really true. They are
Mini.
so fun.
But I think it needs what? Some rally lights?
It's not a Mini until it has rally lights. It's like living in Boulder without a Subaru. I don't think it's possible. So if you have a Mini, somebody must have stolen the rally lights. I can't imagine that it.
And then let's get your advice. I'm thinking the wheels really let it down. I think we need to go white, don't you, to match the white roof?
Oh, I love the idea of white.
Those
wheels themselves might actually be something kind of special.
Really?
So maybe you ought to just do them white.
Just paint them white, yeah.
Yeah.
Rattle can them.
Or powder coat them.
Or powder coat them. Plastic dip them, yeah. That's a really bad idea.
Those wheels might actually be something pretty cool.
Really?
So either find something you like better and sell these for fabulous, or I'm just wrong. But they might be something pretty cool.
Well, guys, there it is, our latest acquisition. Well, it was acquired like 5 months ago, but now it's actually...
Yeah, you wouldn't want to rush it.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to rush it.
I'm fast.
So thank you, Ted, and thank you guys for watching. Remember, if you're looking for a great mechanic who specializes in quirky British cars and French cars, he can find you one. All right. See you guys next time. Ciao.
Roman, thanks.